Okay.
Get the links. Post them wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty.
We'll post them in our server, and we'll post them on HST. You can post on OHD. I don't know if you'll get banned or nuked or
I
Thanos
might
snapped.
like.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't there a channel for like promoting your own works? You are working with us, so
Yeah.
it is your own work.
Here, I'll drop the link a couple places for you.
Yeah, I mean, wherever. Are we live now?
We are live.
It does look like it, yeah.
Not for me, but we will see. It's weird looking at my own YouTube channel and like, okay, when is my video gonna go up?
Yeah, it is strange
And then
working in
YouTube
studio.
channel and like, okay, when is my video gonna go up?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it?
Post the link. I'll post it.
Everything sounds good.
Everything, yeah.
Like.
Am I too quiet?
No, I think you're good.
Can you post on Twitter?
Sorry, it's a little windy where I am. Can you hear it? Is there any background noise?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay.
It's might get windy. I think there's supposed to be a thunderstorm tonight.
Look at you.
All right. Okay. So.
Oh, there's just the Mississippi River's just blow its banks. Great.
Oops.
Awesome. Joj, could you send a tweet out that we're live?
Mm-hmm.
Have you gotten the link? Or put the link
I
in?
can put the link
there you
in here.
go. Okay, now I see it.
Yeah.
Finally. I gotta turn my own chant.
Hello, chat.
Glad people like my thumbnail. I think these come out best when I do them in 5 minutes.
I think it's pretty funny.
I think
it's pretty funny.
I was gonna do the same thing with for Michael, I had a drawing. I have it somewhere where I was kind of replicating Joj's style because I didn't want to bother Joj with drawing it of Michael. And I was gonna do one for you too, but I just got so busy at work I didn't get to it. So you're Mr. Electric.
No, that's definitely all right. I don't mind being Mr. Electric.
Yeah. There you go.
Isn't that from like what? Spy Kids 3?
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Okay, same guys or same creators or whatever.
Yeah. Same like studio.
Was that George Lopez? I think that was George Lopez.
Yes.
The greatest sitcom star in world history, Mr. George Lopez.
Didn't he get canceled? Okay. Didn't he do something?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
Would be surprised.
Probably. I feel like every comedian in the 90s probably did.
Okay. So you posted it there. Let me get an everyone ping and. Have you posted in other places, Alex?
I posted. I don't have access to the Twitter or the Reddit, so I just posted on our servers and HSD.
Sweet. All right, we are good. All right.
I don't know if you want to tweet and put a Reddit post out.
So I cannot access the Twitter on my phone, because of the shenanigans. But I did it on my main Twitter that has more followers than the podcast one anyway.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
That's fine. What, we're gonna miss out on 15 followers? Great.
It's not even 15.
Gotta grow that Twitter.
Working.
What about Reddit? Who has access to the Reddit? Is that Yukon, or are you just posting on your personal Reddit?
I'm posting on my old personal Reddit. I'll throw up a link. But anyway, I think it is 6 o'clock, so now it is time to start. All 17 people watching. Who is Cami? Who's Cami? You will find out. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Fruity Rumpus Asshole Podcast live. Today we have a special guest, Cami, who is the director of FRAF and has done other community works. Why don't you introduce yourself, Cami?
Yeah, hi. Uh I'm Cami. I'm the director of the Fruity Rumpus Assel Factory, not to be confused with the Fruity Rumpus Assel podcast. Uh it is a basically like a network of fan like projects in the Homestuck community that we help them be able to monetize. We're like licensed and stuff, and we help them like sell merch and things, and try to support them in whatever ways we can. Um, on top of that, I'm also an admin on the Homestuck official Discord server, and I have done some coding work for Homestuck in the past, and I am adjacently involved in officially with Homestuck.
So maybe official Homestuck team member might be a little overzealous, but not entirely inaccurate.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Okay. Well, I'll say it here, guys. I am sorry I didn't have the most accurate title. But anyway, we have our other co-hosts. We have Alex.
Yep. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm
And then we
monitoring the
have
chat.
Jojo.
And hello.
So I guess let's get started. Let's get started. So honestly, my first question is, when did you even start reading MSPA?
Oh, probably like 2012. I was in middle school. And the funny story is I just on YouTube happened to like run into like one of those like lyric stuck AMV videos, like music
I remember
videos.
those.
It was a lyric stuck for the Living Tombstones Discord, and I had never interfaced with either of those fandoms. I've never seen anything from Homestuck before. I never interacted with the My Little Pony fandom at all before. So both of these were completely new concepts to me as I watched this this video, and uh it was so strange to me that I had to see what it was about, and I had to get into it.
The worst day of your life.
The thing is, I think I know the exact video you're referring to as well.
uh,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, the getting turned on to Homestuck has completely altered the course of my life. I can't tell you if it's been better or worse, but
mhm.
here we are now. I have a
Oh
podcast
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah. I feel you there. Um, yeah,
So
later on. Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
no, you can do your next question.
So what about this? What's your favorite character in Homestuck, and why?
Oh man, it's yeah that's a good question. I think it's changed a couple of times over the years. It used to be Dave, just because I thought Dave was the funniest. And I still do think Dave is very funny. I really like Jade. I really like her
Mhm.
vibe. I I like her story, her character. I would say Jade is my favorite character. Yeah.
Jade is pretty damn good. Her getting introduced in Act 4, I really, or was it Act 4 or Act 3? I can't remember. But when she got introduced, man, that was one of my some of my favorite panels because it just felt so
Uh,
cozy.
Well, actually,
uh,
she got introduced in Act 2 in a fake out. That's maybe a
Oh,
little
dang it.
Okay. How did you get the job?
um. So this is a really funny, weird, and strange story. So I made a game called Table Stuck. That was like a kind of like a tabletop RPG about Homestuck. You know how it is. Originally, it wasn't very good. I think we made it a lot better since the first kind of version. But uh, through doing that and some stuff on YouTube, um, I eventually, like, an actual literal clown reached out to me.
Mhm.
His name is Macus. And still the most singularly most mysterious person I've ever met.
Yeah,
Reached out to me and then said, "Hey, do you want to come on the For Fans by Fans, like an episode of their Let's Read of Homestuck?" And this was way a long time ago. I was like, "Sure, that sounds like fun." So I went on for like an episode of that. That was over, but then I stayed in touch with Macus and did some like just like, you know, occasionally did things with him over Discord, like games or whatever. Um, and like, to be clear, this is like an actual, I never seen his face. He's never not been doing the clown thing when I've been interacting with him, and it is impressive to me how hard he commits to the bit. He has like a spooky mask, and he is now, to my knowledge, an actual like circus performer.
Yes, I because I
He's
also know Macus. He sent me some
uh,
pictures of his clownery, and it looks fucking great. Like, I'm
it's
very jealous.
awesome.
Mhm.
It's awesome. Like, I'm happy for that guy. But Macus then reach like I did work for Macus a couple of years. Every year he'd do like this Halloween event where he'd do like a Discord server event and invite a bunch of people. At
I
the time,
participated in those. They're really
I did
fun.
oh
those.
yeah, that
I,
was a lot of fun.
I remember I went on a murder hobo spree on one of them, and he had to
Yes,
patch it.
yeah. So that game is what I made for that. Is I made the Discord bot that ran the game for those servers.
Oh, that was
Each
you?
year, yeah, each year it got like progressively more like creatively intense and mechanically like expansive. And I did it for 3 years. The first one was like really simple and fun, like a little corn maze that you could explore.
Mhm.
The second year was like a hotel where you fought ghosts and stuff, and then the third
Yeah.
one was like a hotel where it got like way more deeper in concept, in like a whole battle system, multiple floors, boss fights and stuff. It was a lot of fun. Um, it was called Lavinrica Heights. And I guess Macus invited Andrew to play Lavinrica Heights the last year I did it. And after that, a while after that, I got brought on to Homestuck to do like a little bit of back end web, like dev work.
So how did
I guess
wait, how did so like Andrew knew that you did dev work and they reached out to you?
yeah, basically. I
What
started
dev
doing some behind this.
what dev work did you do before
It,
this?
uh, a couple of things. Some stuff I don't think I can talk about yet. Some things I was working on, like some back end stuff for Homestuck.com, trying to bring it back from the dead when it was like dead
Mhm.
for a year. And oh my god, let me tell you, that was the Viz website was, it is insane to me how it lasted as long as it did. We Koei and I, we tried to like revivify that shit for months, and it would just not come back. Every time we thought we figured out the problem, it turned out no, that wasn't even what's causing it to not work.
Lord.
But yeah,
What
no,
a
that was a whole mess. So that was what I was doing for a while. Um, but then it started like expanding into a couple of other projects and opportunities. One of which was the Fruity Rumpus Asshole Factory was being tossed around as an idea. Uh, and I thought it would be really cool if, when we made this website for it, if it had a forum. And like, so I pitched this forum design. I came up with some concept like artwork for it, for what it could look like and how I think we could go about building it. And then eventually I ended up becoming the director of the Fruity Rumpus Asshole Factory, the project. And we built this forum, and I will say, you can just get like forum software for your forum to run on. We built this shit from scratch. The FRAF forums are like entirely from the ground up. We built ourselves, which I think is like really cool. Just to give like the community, like, provide like an alternate community space, because at the time The only place where anyone could talk about Homestuck really was Mackin's Discord, and in my opinion, it was horrible.
Well, I want to go back
I
to. I'm just curious about. So are you like a programmer by trade? Did you go to school for that?
I didn't go to school actually. I learned to code through making like TableStuck because I made TableStuck and then I wanted to make a bot to like help you run TableStuck, and then I got like really into it and I made like a whole like, I wouldn't even say it was a bot to help you run TableStuck. At that point, I'd made like made it so you could play the game entirely using the bot without even needing a DM. Like as
Okay.
an experiment, just to like learn how to do it. And then I did that work for Macus, and that's kind of like that. My education has entirely been through experience.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is just because it's just interesting you said that like you became friends with or Andrew reached out to you about this because I think there's like a common conception with some people, some Homestuck fans or like a lot of people where they see kind of like people show up on these roles and there's never like any kind of application process or anything. I was just wondering, does Husky
uh,
just hire, does Homestuck just hire all internally basically? Because Michael said once that he asked about doing music, and then he got a response of he was the only one who applied, and Michael was like, "Where are the applications? They don't exist."
uh, as far as I'm seeing, yeah, we like there's not really much in the way of an application process. It's mostly just like especially now that FRAF exists and we have this community. Like, if there's like uh if for example I'm working on a new project for like Homestuck stuff, I'll look at like cool fan projects and look at people who have like cool ideas, cool potential, talented things, and then I would reach out to that person and invite them to come join the project, and that's kind of how you get involved.
Okay. No, I think that's a good way of doing it. In terms of coming on the podcast today, what do you want to get across by like coming on and having a chat with us?
Yeah, so I know that one of the topics of discussion more recently has been the Bowman situation, and after I discovered your podcast, I did watch those episodes, and there was a little bit of stuff I kind of wanted to speak on there because I was involved to an extent with those things. So Fruity Rumpus Asshole Factory, once it became a company, Fruity Rumpus LLC, we have actually been given. You've already like heard a lot of the story leading up to this with the Bowman reaching out about like fixing a lot of like Viz era issues, and also there were a lot of issues with like payments, that like the payments weren't coming in on time and stuff, and there were a lot of extensive delays with that and stuff. Andrew basically came to me and FRAF and said, "Hey, you guys, your company, we're already like, because we run a merch operation on behalf of the FRAF creators. We're already doing like a lot of payout. We have payout infrastructure now because we actually do payouts for those people for the merch that is sold." Andrew basically said, "Hey, if you want to, What Pumpkin can't handle doing the payouts for the Homestuck Bandcamp anymore, and like sales that it does. If you guys take on the responsibility of managing the payouts, I won't take a cut anymore. What Pumpkin isn't going to take a cut anymore, and you can take do whatever you need to make sure it gets paid out, and hopefully this can be a little bit of a boost to FRAF, like monetarily, while you guys are kind of getting started and up and running and stuff."
Okay.
So that's how like we initially became involved with the with all the Bandcamp stuff.
Okay. Now,
And now, after we've taken over, so like I already said, yeah, Andrew doesn't take a cut anymore. What Pumpkin doesn't take a cut anymore. We have chosen to increase the amount that the musicians we pay out to the musicians, like the percentage of profit, from 50% to 80%, and now FRAF just takes the last 20% for our own, like, management services, and all the rest goes to them.
Oh wow, that's quite a reasonable split there. And I've heard allegations floating around that like Hussey was taking the lion's shares of it, but he's getting nothing off these.
Now he isn't. I
he
think
was
it used to
before?
be that What Pumpkin was taking 50%, which I think, I mean, I don't know if I could be wrong. I don't think is like unheard of in the industry. I'm pretty sure. I think that's like standard. I could be wrong though.
Can I ask who is What Pumpkin? Because I felt like, is that company still exist?
Post like Homestuck kind of splitting off from Viz again. Like Viz kind of fucked with. From what I don't know all the details. I'm not part of What Pumpkin. I've only interfaced with it a little bit. But I think Viz kind of fucked up a bit of their infrastructure that they had before. And What Pumpkin is like, I think like 1.5 people now.
It's just Andrew, right?
From my
Andrew,
interface
and I
with it.
assume the person.
Oh no, Andrew, not Andrew. Andrew has his own company. What Pumpkin, he's like kind of divorced from What Pumpkin. He kind of steps in when things like to help with stuff, but as far as I'm aware, he's not actually like part of that company. But I could be wrong on that.
Okay,
but
why so many companies?
I mean, I couldn't tell you. I wasn't involved with most of the companies being made. From what I understand, Homestuck Incorporated owns the IP of Homestuck and can license it out. Furthest Ring Studios is also its own company that makes Beyond Canon. What Pumpkin is its own company. And now Fruity Rumpus LLC is its own company. Which is good for us because that means we're actually like completely independent. Like there were a lot of concerns going around about like especially from Geo. Geo reached out to be like concerned about how much influence Andrew has over like my choice or like what we do and how we operate. But like Andrew, I don't technically have to do what Andrew says. And I've also disagreed with Andrew on, well, I say technically in the sense that like I want to maintain a good business relationship with the guy.
That does sound like he has a little bit of leverage.
Well, I will say I have disagreed with Andrew on things in the past, and we've negotiated on things, and we've come to resolutions that we're both happy on because he is still the person in which we need to acquire. We got the licensing from.
I think that's like the point because I was thinking about it that the Michael situation to me, and we don't have to pivot to the Michael situation yet, but to me it sounded like evidence that it was like these different companies aren't completely, because I felt like at this point if Beyond Canon was completely divorced, or FRAF, which controls the music now, was completely divorced from Andrew, Michael really only had beef with like Andrew, Toby, and James, and that's just what he said. James is gone. Toby is like completely, he's on another level. It's really only Andrew. So if, for say, someone on FRAF or someone on Beyond Canon was like, well, I just want a Michael track, I'll just ask him to commission him out a track, it really shouldn't even matter unless Andrew had a problem with it.
Well, I don't think that Andrew would have a problem if a FRAF creator like commissioned Michael for a track. Like I'm 100% sure that like I would never even hear about it from Andrew.
Okay. So let me get this straight on like the business structure of Homestuck. So Andrew owns Homestuck LLC. That's where Andrew works. I'm assuming Vibri works and a
Homestuck
couple other
Inc.
people work. And then they give What Pumpkin, Further String Studios, and Fruity Rumpus LLC. They give them licenses to use the IP of Homestuck.
In my experience with it, I don't know exactly what all of the agreements that the other entities have, but that's how it works with FRAF, at least.
Okay. I guess
I also, if it's
ahead.
all right, I want to quickly touch on a question somebody in the chat just asked, if I was paid for working on the Homestuck website for months and months. I worked on it a bit, and I did receive fair compensation for the work that I did do on it. I got paid at a rate of like $25 an hour that I worked on it.
That's actually not that bad. Yeah, I was gonna see if we could pivot into that. So thank you for taking it.
Well, okay.
Taking it.
I am getting a question here. So, like, sorry, I'm trying to pivot this way to the flow of the conversation makes sense, but I've already completely derailed it by stalling. That answers it. If you said that, like, people on FRAF now who controls the music team, didn't have a problem with Michael, then is there any possibility of him being able to join in on the music team now? If he wants. I don't know if he wants.
Okay, so I think this is a good opportunity to continue back kind of down that path. So on the timeline, FRAF is we are given like management control over the Bandcamp and the responsibility of handling payouts from the future after the point in which What Pumpkin resolves the back pay up to that point. Once we at FRAF we get our stuff together, obviously there's a transitionary period where we needed to actually figure out the specifics of this kind of transfer of control. Once we get that all sorted out and do our first big payment to all of the creators, we did that. We included an email to all of them from I think the Fruity Rumpus administrative account, including Michael. That was basically just like, hey, this is a notice of, hey, we are the entity that will be managing payouts going forward. There's new pay splits. Here's how it works. Andrew's not getting any of it. We're going to be trying to put the albums on streaming now, which is still an ongoing process. So far, I think we've only done Hive Swap. But we're going to be trying to get all of the albums on streaming if we can. We are going to continue to pursue getting the vinyl made. I will say that that's not our highest priority right now, and there are some issues with that I can talk on a little bit later. And we included a link for a Discord for just further communication. That's easier than just emails and stuff. And we mentioned that we were going to be making looking into trying to make new projects and new albums to release on the Bandcamp. Working alongside the Homestuck team to actually make that, of course. But this is the point where my involvement with the Michael situation starts, because in the Discord that we made for this, I guess I could share a screenshot of it. Michael directly he messages in the Discord to express interest in that part of the email, screenshotting it. At this point, I've kind of heard about the Michael situation in the background mostly. I'm not super involved on it. But I also know that the team, I am also very aware of the fact that Michael and Alice are regularly talking shit about Homestuck all the time, basically.
Well, first of all, I mean, Michael is the one that would be on the team. I mean,
Uh,
Alice is free individual. I mean, I think she could say whatever she wants. From what I've seen, Michael really focuses more on Andrew let me back it up a bit. I mean, I think specifically his experiences, his personal experiences, and specifically around the time when he was on the team back in, was it, you know, when he got kind of, as he said, iced out and, you know,
right.
blocked out. And I think I mean, that's his experience with those people. I mean, that's his choice to talk about it. But I mean, I kind of wanted to go into like, do you know anything, or why do you think? Not talking about now, talking about all the way back then, why that happened, you know?
Um, I it way back stuff. I don't know exactly about, right, like that. Like I only got involved like 2 years ago, obviously. And
Mhm.
anything I have heard, yeah, I would say take with a sense of a grain of salt, of course, because like I've heard it from one side. But like all I really know is that there was beef between people. Obviously, Bowman had beef with Toby. I'm sure there was more. I'm sure there was like plenty of like disagreements or drama or what have you. I don't know the full extent. Um, the only like there is one thing that I because I did listen to the Bowman podcast before this, and I listened go through all this stuff. There's not too much I can speak on because I just don't know too much about it. Um, uh, but I did hear Andrew talk a little bit about like what Bowman described as the walkout situation. Um, from what Andrew said is that like uh pretty much as soon as they like he got pushback on that contract thing, he backed off of it, and went and kept uh the contracts as they were. Um, from on that angle, I heard about that.
What did
Uh,
they say about
and I
that?
also heard from Andrew said that
Yes.
apparently, and again, grain of salt. I'm hearing this from Andrew retelling it
Mhm.
years after the fact. Apparently, Andrew actually offered Bowman Toby's job before Toby, and Bowman turned it down.
Oh Lord, that's kind of juicy.
So,
But
but again, that's the extent I heard of it. I don't
yeah,
actually like that. That's you now. You know as much as I do.
I
So
mean that's still
Andrew
more than
said
we knew
that
before.
Michael was offered the job. When exactly was he offered it?
Well,
uh Presumably some time before Toby became like the manager
The music
of the
team?
music team or whatever.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna
Uh,
say that that's
nailed
false.
he might. I this is I heard Andrew say this. This was directly from Andrew. This wasn't like somebody like saying this on Andrew's behalf or anything. I saw Andrew say this specific thing. I don't know of how. I can't speak to it further than that.
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
I don't know if we're ever really going to get like a proper answer, right? I mean, I think people are biased to believe whoever they like more, right?
Uh, yeah. Um, but going back a bit, you were talking about how like a lot of the stuff that that Michael was talking about
Hmm.
was like pretty much exclusively just experiences he had with the company, speaking out on those, and with Andrew. Um, I don't I actually can't recall off the top of my head what all was included in that email. But I did see instances, in my opinion, I wouldn't say that's completely accurate. I saw instances of Bowman saying some things about Toby that were not related to his experiences with Toby, like making fun of him for having his like, injury with his wrist or whatever. Um, I can't remember what he specifically called him. It was like
Well, he was talking shit over an injury, so that's
uh
I
But
mean,
I
Or
mean,
maybe that was
so
Mackin.
I mean,
I might be mixing up that situation. That might have been Mackin.
fair enough. Yeah, true.
Mhm. And other things about just like, the engagement and some like speculation about like Andrew's personal sex life as well was that I thought was like definitely like way across the fucking line, in my personal opinion. That was like very weird. I don't know how much of that was included in the document. I know the document only included like a couple of the things that
are you referring
I
to
saw.
the email he got?
Yeah, the email. Yeah.
So who got that? Because it's interesting. It's called a document. Who wrote that?
Okay. So K-Pi is I don't really want to talk about like I don't want to tell K-Pi is anonymous for a reason, like it's I will say that it's not like a known Homestuck figure that's in disguise or whatever, and it's not Andrew in like a trench coat or whatever. These
Yeah.
days when you are working like in any official capacity with Homestuck these days, you are like taking a gamble on getting doxxed and kiwi farmed. Like that's just like a fact of the matter. I've seen it happen to a couple of people. I won't say explicitly who, because I don't want to draw more attention to the people who have been doxxed, whose information you can find, obviously.
Yeah, we don't
But
do that.
if you might have heard about it happening, and it was like pretty rough.
No,
It
I kind of understand the desire for anonymity here. Like, some of the fans have been pretty. They've been pretty fucking nasty, right? Like, I can understand.
How long
uh,
was that? Do you know how
I
long
like,
they were looking at Michael's and Alice's chat history before reaching out?
yeah, were you involved in any of that?
Okay, so we're getting a little bit a little bit out of order. Yeah, okay. I'll go back a bit on that in the timeline.
Sure.
From what I understand, they were considering addressing some of the things that Bowman and Alice were bringing up for the that big community issues document, and they were considering doing it for that, and then they decided against it to focus more on some of the figures that were more like, in my opinion, problematic, like Mackin. But and to that, I didn't actually I didn't write that document. I was given a draft of it before it was published to like provide feedback on, but that's about it.
So you
So it
saw
kind
it
of seems like,
before they sent it out?
Yeah.
What
I
was
got
your
to see
what
it
was your
early. I got
feedback?
uh there was one part that I thought was like kind of unnecessary that they ended up cutting, and a couple of other smaller things. It wasn't too much.
So
It was like pretty late in the
what
process.
I'm curious about is that in these conversations, why didn't why was it cooking for so long, and why was it so informal in the way? Because like, yeah, you want anonymity, but Andrew knows Michael. I mean,
Right.
so why not
Well,
just be like, "Hey, bro, we good?"
right. Okay. So, getting back to K-Pi, I would like to clarify that this isn't the only person. This is a team. This isn't the like. There are a lot of people involved in the Homesick official team that try to stay as anonymous as possible. In like over half, maybe not over half, but a lot of the people that were working on Homestuck.com, like the new version and the update cycle, like chose to did not want to be credited at all, including the head dev, because they were like they wanted to try and stay anonymous. They were like worried about all of this stuff. So there's actually a lot of people involved who are just completely anonymous. But like, and this is a situation interfacing with Bowman, who is like kind of a known like like we're directly one of the thing that he's being confronted on here is like engaging with like like the the exact kind of problem that might lead to this person getting their identity like leaked and potentially at risk of that. I don't think that I don't blame anyone who works at Homestuck for not wanting to like be open about who they are or maintain any kind of identity at this point.
Well, that's fine,
Um,
but it's the person who is KPI isn't Michael isn't talking shit about whoever this mystery person is. Michael's talking shit about Andrew. So
right.
if he's the one with the issue, what's the point of the middleman? I mean, there's no way for Andrew to stay anonymous. He's Andrew. So why can't he just hit up Michael and just talk to him about it?
Well, this wasn't like necessarily Andrew like facilitating this contact or whatever. This KPI person was working on with Bowman on, from my understanding, working with Bowman on like fixing some stuff up for the albums before it was handed over to FRAF for like a bit. And that's why they were the one to reach out with this email.
If they were already talking to Michael, then why make a new anonymous account to reach out to Michael? Were they just shy about it?
I don't think they did. I think the KPI account is the same one they were using for all of that
Okay,
interfacing.
right. Actually, yes, I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it kind of seems like KPI is this anonymous individual who came up with the document and an email and the email chain with the Bowmans, and several other people had input on what they said, but it was mainly this KPI person who remains anonymous.
Oh, you know what? I just had a realization. I mean, this is like exactly what we were talking about last episode, is that so before they were talking smack, they wanted to reach out about fixing the Bandcamp. And it seems like this KPI person made the anonymous account as a preemptive measure. Am I getting that right?
I don't know. I also, another thing, I don't know much about this. Again, FRAF was not involved until like we were given control of the Bandcamp. I should clarify. But too far before that is where I don't really have a whole lot of information. I also think like KPI at the time of all of this happening, like still hadn't actually been given like an actual like official business email yet. They were still like pretty new on. But like, yeah, I couldn't tell you too much about like KPI going on before this like this final email and before FRAF was given control of the Bandcamp.
Okay. Now I do have a question regarding like how much have you personally worked with the Bowmans? I know you have a lot to say on this situation, but have you worked with them directly?
Almost not at all. I've had very little communications with them. Those being discussions about like two emails basically. One of which being and this is something actually I want to actually admit I apologize for at the time, but FRAF's second quarterly payment that we were trying to catch up on, we were like a month late with that, and that is actually something I felt bad about, because like part of the whole thing with us taking it on is that we were trying to not let that happen. But I'm not gonna lie, it's actually like very difficult to get in contact with some of these musicians and get their payment information. Like there's a couple people we need to like mail out checks to as well. And so I was trying to automate that process before a second quarterly payment, but I wasn't able to. And so we did have our second one be late. I hope that won't happen in the future. But that is something that Bowman reached out to me about, and that was pretty much my only contact personally with Michael.
Okay, so basically you're... Oh, go ahead, Jojo, sorry.
I was going to ask him, are any of the old contracts expired, or are they all still active?
The old contracts are still, from my understanding, with What Pumpkin, and we are just managing the payoff, paying out people on behalf of What Pumpkin, and What Pumpkin is like forgoing their share of it.
Okay. So they're
so
just...
I believe the contracts remain unchanged from how they were before we started doing the payouts on behalf of Wet Pumpkin.
And they haven't been renegotiated or anything that you know of?
That I know of, no. We might look into trying to do that to more firmly, like in paper, tell them we're going to be paying them more money. But so far, we've just been paying them more money.
Okay. And okay, that's very interesting. So in general, like these guys have been getting a much bigger cut since now that What Pumpkin's been pulled out. So if anything, they should be happy with what they're getting because, I mean, outside of getting paid late, everyone that sucks. But you know, I understand you were working on it. But other than like, they should be overall generally happier since they have all this pay. Since they're getting more money. I don't know. I'd be happy.
And it's also like, you know, if you were like previously like boycotting the Homestuck Bandcamp or anything, like, hey, because you didn't want to give Andrew money for or whatever, Andrew doesn't see any of it unless you don't want to give me money. I get a little bit of it now, but only a little. Most of it goes to the musicians.
I mean, you need to get paid, so I don't think if people get pissed off that they're giving money to the someone running it, I think at that point they just shouldn't buy anything. So that is good to know that it actually seems like we are, or not we, Homestuck and its satellite companies are actually giving more to its creators than it has previously in the past, which I am very that makes things a lot better for the community as it continues to grow and thrive.
Well,
at least that's something that I want to do. Oh, sorry.
I mean, well, you say that, but it depends because you have to actually be part of that community, which I still am kind of convinced that, for example, I mean, with Michael, if you have some kind of personal issue or you don't, and this might be able to pivot to our next topic, but if you have some kind of issue with anyone, you know, up top, you know, you won't kind of get in there. I mean, that's how I see it because, you know, Michael was banned from the music team Discord and, you know, as far as I know, is still blacklisted potentially. I mean, so yeah, it does, but
all right. Well, I guess on that note, I mean, I don't know. This might be a controversial take. I don't think it's unreasonable if like a bunch of people are talking shit about you or your friends or whatever, or you just don't like someone that you don't work with them necessarily, or you don't like invite them to work with you. I don't think I personally don't think that's crazy.
Does that seem crazy? That some of his resentment may have come from maybe more a feeling of let's try to find the right word. I feel like a lot of this is just kind of a unresolved thing, and it seems like whenever he tries to get some kind of conclusion to these unresolved things, he gets anonymous accounts and stonewalling or having to look for someone's email. I feel like maybe that's kind of the origin of all these issues.
Well, one thing I will say is I think maybe given it from my impression, because going back a little bit to the story of like Bowman expresses he wants to be involved with these new albums we mentioned. Like Bowman is interested, he's reaching out to try and get involved. I pass that up the ladder to other people. They you know, I was aware of some of the Bowman beef just a bit, but you know, at this point is when it comes into a straight an actual discussion of oh yeah, like it's the beef is like a bit more pressing than I thought it was.
Did they say he was hard to work with in the past, like during Homestuck's prime?
I don't know. I don't remember if they like specifically said that. I knew that like most of the people involved in the conversation were pretty firmly against, like they were pretty firmly of the camp of Bowman wants to work with us again. No, absolutely not. This is just like he's been, he's been a problem with like for us for a while.
When
He's
in the
been like
timeline was this? Because this is important. Was this when Michael was talking about not being on the show or something and tweeting about it, and then was
this is a while after that. That was in like August. I think at this point this is in sorry, that was in like that was, I think, maybe September of last year is when the show was announced, and Michael did that tweet,
Yep.
and there was like a little bit of drama about it or whatever. This is now, at least the screenshot I shared looks like it was dated for 3/21 of this year. So this was like a lot more recently than that, but this conversation happened directly as a result of Michael reaching out in that Discord server to express interest that he wants to be involved with Homestuck on these new albums.
and who said no? Was it Andrew himself or was it just other people?
There were a lot of people. There were different takes. There were a lot of people who were like firmly, because there, this was like a larger group discussion. Some people were like firmly in the camp of no, we absolutely don't want to work with Bowman again. He's just not a person. He talks shit about us. He says these rumors. We have all the shit that we compiled already for a thing. We didn't decide to include Bowman in it, but like here's like some references of reasons we don't like him.
Do you think
right?
that instead of compiling, it would have stopped if they would have reached out before that?
I mean, I was gonna say this. I think. I think they could have done to make it more clear in the past that like, hey, we just don't want to work with you.
Well, it seems I think they made it pretty clear when James told them like no,
right,
like 2 years ago. But at that point,
case, I don't know
at that
fully
point,
what the confusion was or why he's still reaching out.
You don't know anything about that? About why James fired him?
I heard little about that. I heard very little about that. But yeah, no, I'm also kind of, again, yeah, like, I heard more about that from listening to the last episode of your podcast than I did just like around the water cooler or whatever. I'm surprised that Bowman tried to continue reaching out to like, for again, not just like fixing the albums and stuff, but for directly collaborating on new ones, after he already kind of got told off about that.
I think there's I mean I might be talking circles, but I think that problem with that stems from feeling no closure, lack of closure.
Yeah,
That's how I would
clearly
describe
Bowman. It just kind of seems like Bowman Hussey. Bowman has a grudge. Bowman said some things. People in the Homestuck team don't like this. Hussey may also have a grudge. We don't particularly know. And it's split down the middle with work with Bowman or not work with Bowman. Like there's some diversity within the Homestuck team about that. And it seems like more we're leaning on a don't work with Bowman type deal.
Yeah, that was generally when I brought this up. At this point, I was kind of advocating for the guy, I would say, in the sense that I was like, this is like a smaller server that FRAF was just running for the sake of getting people together so we can do we had easier paths of communication with all these musicians. And I saw Bowman express his interest. I passed it up the ladder a bit. And it was met with a lot of pushback. Some people were like, absolutely not. We never want to work with Bowman again. Some people were like, maybe we could. I don't know. If he keeps trying to reach out, even though on one side he's like, trying to still be involved, and then the other he's saying all these other things on Mackin's Discord or whatever. The conclusion that conversation ended up coming to was they didn't want Bowman involved anymore. The only way to repair their relations would be some kind of public apology, is what they came down to. Because the things Bowman was saying was in a public forum. They felt hurt and wronged by that in a couple of ways. That's what they came down to. I wasn't
why
too
a
deep into
public?
this conversation because I wasn't one of the deciders of this happening. I was just bringing the topic up to them.
All right,
I
I think we should move on to Con. I think we should move on to our next.
I agree. I do have one quick question, and if it's a little too invasive, but how, like, on the scale of these payouts that we're dealing with FRAF, like,
Right.
how many digits are we working with? That's all I want to know, so we can get a scale of, like, there's some money in this drama, and and the amount adds a lot to it. So that's all I'm asking. Is like,
what
how
are you
many digits
asking?
If it's all right, I don't really want to talk too much
Yeah,
about like
no,
specific
we're not talking about that.
numbers.
That's
Yeah.
fair enough. That's all right.
That's people's
So,
private business.
all right. So, Joji, do you want to go on to the next topic here?
Yeah, so our next questions were the community-based questions, specifically around OHD. I think this first one's such like a banger.
Go to
do you
the
think
second one.
OHD
The second one's probably better.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's a harsh one. Oh, do you think HSD should be shut down? The Mackin server.
Right. Okay. I didn't want to talk about this, and I actually, I said as much directly to Mackin's face before he blocked me. But
sorry, did you say you do or don't want to talk about that?
I do want to talk about this.
Okay,
I'll get into it a little bit. Okay. So as a quick clarifying thing, because I know this blew up, there were a bunch of moderation logs that were leaked. All of them were in my it did take what I have to say, I guess, with a grain of salt, in the extent that, like, I'm on the defensive here for this one pretty directly, but all of them, in my opinion, were taken pretty extremely out of context. I talked a bit about the ones that, like, mentioned I was involved with at all on the FRAF forums a bit, but the big ones being I think Vibri and another person saying that they had been like reporting HSD or the unofficial Homesec Discord. This is Mackin, after this was leaked, then spun this into massive, like, he did this. I believe there's still a Reddit alert fucking beacon on the Reddit right now about it. Of a like HS team hostile takeover and stuff, and there were a lot of claims that this was like an organized push on behalf of the entire moderator team. From my perspective of things as an admin here, well, I'm not too deep in the actual moderation business. I mostly just help out here and there on the like technical side of stuff. I was never asked by anyone to report Mackin's Discord. I never saw anybody else ask. I never saw anybody else ask somebody else to report Mackin's Discord. And I never asked anybody to report Mackin's Discord. I believe that a couple of people did, because I don't think it's a secret. We don't like Mackin. I certainly don't like Mackin. I think I'm probably the biggest Mackin hater that lives. But like, I never reported it. Despite how much I despise Mackin personally, I never reported his server. And I don't think it was an organized effort or anything. I think a couple people did, but definitely wasn't the whole mod team. And it definitely wasn't our horse mods, which are the lowest possible level of moderator that our Discord server has, which is basically anybody who wants to be a horse mod can apply. And it's, it's just like some helping the mods in the sense, like, you don't have banning permissions or too much in the way of stuff, but it's helping keep an eye out, like janitors, basically. If there was any kind of organized push, we absolutely fucking wouldn't tell them because that would be leaked instantly. Right? Like that would be ridiculous. But even so, Mackin decided to ban every single one of them from his new Discord, just wholesale, and he complains about us doing unjustified bans, even though there's absolutely zero chance that any of those horse mods were involved in anything like that, even if it did happen, which it didn't. I don't know. The whole thing was, in my opinion, extremely overblown. And I'll be honest about this, because you asked the question, do I think the Homestuck Discord should have been taken down? My answer is yes. I don't like it. I don't like Mackin. I think he sucks.
Well, what about the hundreds of people that are also on there that don't really give a shit about Mackin?
Then any one of them could start their own that isn't Mackin, in my opinion, or even Mackin could step down or something else like he was asked to a long time ago, but he still insists on being the center of every community space that he can find, and continuously be like the worst part of it wholesale. But like, you know, these are maybe more spicy takes. I should say this is more reflective of my personal opinions on the subject.
Do you think that there's people on the server that just use it because it's the biggest and they don't really give a shit about Mackin's influence?
There's plenty of them. And I also think that that's a problem because that means that Mackin had at the time a massive horn, like Mackin had like the largest social fucking sphere of people to tell things about, and he used it almost exclusively for evil. Like,
well, I don't
as
think
an example,
so. I mean,
he
has some. I mean, like his what was it, Homestuck.net? I don't actually use it, but most of that just seems to be just stuff. Like, you know, it doesn't seem like. I know that he did that one thing, which I think was stupid, where he during the takedown he was trying to be a troll and put that you had to put a thing in like a password thing. That was dumb, but because I have been using, because let me be honest, I got banned from official Homestuck Discord, so I had to join Mackin server, and I think I see Mackin in the chat like maybe like once a week. And of the channels that I look at, doesn't really seem that like he has much influence besides the fact that he puts his dog everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's his server, right? Like,
yeah, it's still his server.
I think it's silly to say he has no influence because he could.
He definitely has influence, but I guess not in a way that he's like, this is what you need to think, kind of thing. Way.
I guess I'm getting maybe a little bit too personal on this situation, but I do want to, like, just as like an example of what I mean, because I was going to follow up the evil with like you know, I was exaggerating a little bit, but as an example of an instance where I think Mackin actually did do genuine community harm, when FRAF, the Fruity Rumpus Asshole Factory, first was announced, he did an add everyone ping on the server. And in which ping, you know, he liked the fact that it had forums on it because Mackin likes the forums. But in the ping, he said, like, he told people not to support FRAF creators by buying merch because a majority of the money goes to Andrew Hussey, which is wholesale not true. And I will say right now, when you buy a piece of merch created by a fan creator on the FRAF merch store, the fan creator sees 70% of the profit from that. FRAF sees 20% of the profit from that, and Andrew sees 10%.
I mean, so that's still him. Even if it's 10%, it's still him. But even then, I think when he said that, was that like around? Wasn't that around the time when there was a lot of, we don't even have to talk about this one, but when that Geo article came out, so everyone was like mad and pissed off.
This was just before that.
Yeah,
this was just before that.
Yeah. I do also think that is kind of a massive disservice to like the fan community, right? Because it's FRAF is made up of fan-made projects, isn't it?
It is.
And yeah, no, I will say that definitely hurt us monetarily because, you know, pinging that to 40,000 people, again, like you said before, this is the largest community. I think this is like an example of this definitely fucked us up. And I reached out to Mackin about it. I tried to correct him. I tried to talk to him about it. And he edited the message to say this is now this has been challenged or something like that. But, you know, long after the ping had already been out and everybody already said it, and no actual further follow-up clarification that this is not true. You know, like that is
well, it was only 10% true.
Oh no, Andrew does not take the majority of the money.
No, he doesn't take the majority, but he said don't buy this because it gives Andrew money. Well, he does get 10%. You know, it's a small amount.
No, he claimed that Andrew was taking most of the money that was supposed to go to these fan creators.
Well, yeah, that would be a lie then. Yes.
I mean, we're gonna have like, I don't necessarily trust what comes out of Mackin's mouth just because he's Mackin. I mean, like, who the fuck is he really?
So I mean, like,
I was never
really.
Why is he?
Do we really think that, like, do we think that that we should have creator involvement in fandom spaces?
I mean, you know, you don't have to take the license if you don't want. You don't have to be part of FRAF if you don't want to. We're not forcing anybody to. I don't think anybody has been punished for not being part of FRAF.
I think we're trying to talk about the Discords.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like, it kind of seemed like the Homestuck team was trying to reach into fandom spaces, and like, in your opinion, should people in an official capacity with the Homestuck team even be doing that in the first place? I think is what we're trying to get across.
I mean, I don't know, man. As far as I'm concerned, I just don't want it to be somebody who's like is so explicitly toxic as Mackin. I absolutely wouldn't care if there's another Discord and Mackin isn't running it. I wouldn't have any kind of problem with that. Or, you know, maybe not Mackin or somebody who is like directly like Mackin's best friend. You know.
So really, the drama around the HS Discord is not the fact that it was a community Discord. It was the fact that it was Mackin's Discord that he was running. Is really
that's the problem I had with it, and I think that was most of the problem that anybody else I've spoken to about it had on it. But again, and I would like to clarify, I didn't see. I even though I think you saw me get personal there. Even though I think I'm the biggest hater of the guy, I will honestly say I did not report his server. I did not do anything to get his server crashed. And if I did, I'd be honest about it.
I mean, you've been pretty honest so far, so we'll take you at your word for that. And
do you think that there's always going to be an audience for fan spaces away from Andrew?
Would there be an audience for that? I'm sure there would.
Can you see why, like, that may be the reason why people want Mackin server or the Reddit to still be up, you know, without it being taken down? Like, that's kind of the reason why. Not really because they.
I don't think is the Reddit been taken down.
No, but he's the same. He owns it, so like both that and the official before. Sorry.
The
original.
I don't know. The real issue with it, you know, aside from just my own personal beef with Mackin, but the real issue with it is also, like, you know, the culture that he's cultivated around it, pretty much unchallenged for like years and years in the interim process where Homestuck was kind of in the dark. And that kind of, I think that created a kind of unhealthy space. I don't have an issue with that space, like with alternative, non-officially controlled spaces existing, but I am of the opinion that was not a good space. That was not a healthy space, and I wanted there to be alternatives for that. So that's why I created the Fruity Rumpus forums initially, was to create like the first kind of place you could talk about Homestuck that wasn't you know, both controlled by Mackin and heavily dominated by this very like in my opinion, kind of toxic kind of culture within it. And so my personal thought is that the best path is to make these alternatives. And then the Homestuck official server came around also as an alternative. And I was a big fan of that happening. I think I've seen, in my opinion, I think that the Homestuck community is a much better place to engage with now that those spaces also exist.
Do you think the official? I have actually used the forums, and I've had a good experience because I was able to give a kind of a dissenting opinion without getting banned, which was pretty nice. Um, do you think that the official Homestuck Discord's moderation is too harsh?
Yeah, we do hear a lot from members of
Mhm.
our community saying like, you guys are quote, you guys are, you know, like censoring. You're very censor heavy. You're very you ban people for almost no reason. And so, what comments do you have on that?
Well, okay. I would disagree in the sense that we ban people for no reason. It like if I'm not going to say that our moderation practices are perfect. I'm not personally overseeing every moderation issue, so I couldn't speak on each individual one. We have a pretty large mod team, and on the whole, I think that it's I think that they do a pretty decent job. I'm sure there's definitely like circumstances in which things might happen that aren't deserved. But to the extent of banning, I don't think it's often that we ban people for just no reason, flat out.
Can I say why I got
Um,
banned?
Sure.
Okay, so this might be funny. About 2 hours into the server going up, everyone was kind of excited and talking, and someone someone said like someone said something about Andrew being in there, and then all the kids were like, "Oh my God, it's Andrew in here! How do I find out? How do I find him?" And then I replied, I said, "Be a hot Vriska cosplayer," and I got banned. And at the time, I thought it was just a Vriska joke. And
I
then
see.
later I realized, oh, that's probably why I got banned.
Right. Uh, I yeah, I think that that's kind of coming off of I think that was actually maybe one of the things I don't know, not to get too deep into that, but like yeah, just you see what the implications of that mean, right? And how that could be interpreted.
Yeah, but I think that's like kind of there are two camps, and people like to make people want a free space to joke,
Mhm.
and some people have different sensibilities, and that's totally fair. I think that's why these
Yeah.
spaces exist away from, you know,
Well,
Hussy's
yeah.
involvement, because people want spaces where they can criticize him or whatever they want to say. And I think
Uh-huh.
when you have the creator inside the room, inside the Discord, it feels like when your dad is hanging out with your friends, and you're like you kind of, because sometimes you talk shit about your parents and you don't want your parents to hear it. It's like or like if the boss is hanging out at your coworkers at the hangout, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's
Well, I mean, if I'll be honest, I think that my take on this specific thing in particular is like the inferences of that I think are kind of inappropriate when it comes to talking about a real person. And I will say as well for context, uh, I did see the after you mentioned, I think in the last episode, that's actually how I was able to find your Discord and reach out to you. You guys mentioned that you were banned, and I checked our ban logs on that, and I have seen the messages that got you guys banned. Um, you know, I yeah, it might be a hot take. You guys, you know what you said. I don't think those were completely undeserved bans.
I mean, go
probably
ahead.
cons. Probably you're probably right about cons. And mine,
Yeah, I'm not
the jury's still
sure.
out on that one.
Yeah, but ultimately, it doesn't really matter too much. So, but ultimately, clearly, this has created a rift in the community. This HSD versus OHD thing. Is there any? Do you think there's any like reconciliation that can be done on the behalf of the official team to heal this wound, this split in the community?
Well, again, when in my opinion, the best course of action is to make alternative spaces. In my opinion, if a space that you know like a new space comes out, not controlled by Homestuck officially or any way, and distinctive from the kind of community that Mackin is pretty intentionally creates. I would personally wholeheartedly support and promote it. That would be my course of action, to trying to repair community relations. Like if a community like that kind of started growing and existing, I would want to help it grow. I would want to maybe endorse it and give them like some the good thumbs up, and I think that would be a pretty good path.
So really, basically, you just want someone else that's not Mackin to take this mantle of alternative community leadership and try to build these new
And
spaces.
ideally, they don't do the exact same things Mackin did with theirs and
Well, they
create
would
the
have to
same,
be
cultivate
they
the
would
same
have to
kind of
be
community
approved,
with it.
so to speak.
I'm not trying to say I'm trying to they need to go through an application process. But like I think ideally the kind of community I would want to promote would not be run by just another Mackin.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's going out to the community. If you guys want to start these communities, go ahead. It seems like we have a fish like you have the blessing of at least Cami, if not others from the Homestuck team, to go out and create your own spaces. Try to get something as big as the HSD. I'd love to see that because I would love to see. I like the idea of the OHD, and but I do wish there was a bigger, more comprehensive, unofficial Homestuck community. So that's on to you guys.
Well, I
All right.
proposed the Halo 3 battle. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, let's do
I thought that was pretty funny.
I think everyone
I
on
like that.
OHD is too young to play Halo, though. They'll probably be like, "What the fuck is that? It's not Fortnite."
No, they've been
Do they
Halo
skew
Infinite
younger?
Well, from my experience, yeah. I
I
mean, it's a
I'm not
13
in,
and up server, right?
I'm at neither server. I wouldn't know.
Okay. So I think we are starting to get close to we're starting to get close to the end, but we do have a couple more questions. One of these is like, why do you personally think that Andrew has this generally bad reputation with a lot of the older fans? And do you think this is unwarranted, or are they right in their opinions there, or justified?
Right. I would say that I think that it's I'm sure, I think that there's definitely criticisms of like, Andrew, you can have that are valid, but I think that it's gone a little bit out of control. And again, I feel like it's kind of a result of the like pocket of space and time where there was kind of just like where kind of the first run of HS2 ended, and then it was just like, and what's Homestuck? It's just the Homestuck official or the unofficial Homestuck Discord, and that's about it, right? There was a big long pocket in time where that was kind of it, and I feel like there was a lot of resentment that kind of built up in that time that I think is gone quite a bit beyond what I think it kind of started initially as like the bit of like, oh, it's Hussey, he's killing all our characters, oh fuck you, Hussey, you killed my favorite character or whatever, and like that's where it kind of started as kind of a bit, it kind of became like accentuating a bit of a more ironic bit, and then kind of it became like there that got mixed in with the bit got mixed up with like real genuine criticisms together. That kind of created like a weird culture thing. Is kind of my thoughts on it. Again, I don't think Andrew is by any means a perfect individual. I've disagreed with Andrew a couple of times, and I've, at the very least, when that's happened in my discussions with him about it, they have been amicable, and we were able to work out, in my opinion, some pretty good we were able to negotiate good arrangements, especially when it comes to business things. Like I feel like I was able to get a pretty good fucking deal for like the FRAF creators in terms of their cuts and the musicians and stuff, like things like that. Like those are all like I think it's just gone a couple steps too far, in my opinion.
What do
I
you
will say.
What
Go ahead, Alex.
yeah, I completely lost my train of thought.
Let me step in then for
Okay,
a second
go
while you get that. I think you are right, and a lot of the hussy hate is overblown, though, as you said, there are some legitimate criticisms. Personally, one of my biggest criticisms is the mishandling of the Hive Swap Kickstarter. So I know that's a source of a lot of resentment. I backed it, and then the product that we've gotten is a little lackluster, but it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, personally, I enjoy the product that has been releasing. I know Act 3 is like steadily on the way. It's going to be coming up soon. In my opinion, I like how Hive Swap ended coming out. I actually really like the change to 2D over the original 3D style. That's in my opinion.
I think he's more talking about like the timing, not taking so long.
Oh, the timing.
yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah,
the actual
That's
product, I gotta
different.
say, is
And
solid.
and
Just-
the the behind the scenes stuff people talking about.
yeah, like
right.
which isn't the topic, but it's
Well,
been-
again, that was definitely far before my time, before I was
Yeah,
like involved with much of that. I do think like I think Andrew has released a bit of like his own like a bit more information about the kind of behind, or maybe it wasn't Andrew that specifically released it. But like there were and more recently, I don't know if it was in the community issues doc or not, or if that was a separate thing, but there was a big thing about Hive Swap and some of like a lot of the complications that went on with that. And I definitely understand that people were like it was a completely it took way there were a lot of problems. It took a long time to make. I don't think it's all on Andrew. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't pin the full like all of the issues of Hive Swap on Andrew, or I mean, even most of them. I don't know how much I can actually say because it's a kind of.
I feel like if you're the creator, CEO / whatever leader, you take the responsibility. My opinion, that's my philosophy.
I mean, I guess so, and I do agree with that to an extent. But when you're dealing with that much money, dealing with outside like companies, things like that, it creates. I think there's a lot of factors that aren't necessarily on completely on his plate, but that's just my take.
and I can see that take. Like, clearly he had some problems, but probably there were other. I think how it was handled in the initial states. Probably, I think you're right to say that it wasn't just Andrew. That was too big of a debacle to be a one-person problem. But I understand.
Well, if
So
it
I
was
understand.
my philosophy, if it was someone that he put in charge, he's the one who put it in charge of a specific thing, which I think that's a pattern that you see with some of the people he's put in charge before. It's like, well, maybe put someone else in charge. It's a novel idea.
Yeah, I mean, he possibly could do better at picking some people. Clearly, Cami's doing a decent job with with renegotiating the cuts for the FRAF people, which I'm actually ecstatic to hear about. I thought that it was going to be a little more seedy, but those cuts seem incredibly fair to me. So I just wanted to say that. But
like, you know, to an extent, it's still like a licensing deal. You know, it's like I think 10% is, in my opinion, reasonable for homesticking to be taken.
I can't disagree there. 10%. He only gets a 10% cut. That's not gonna.
I don't really care about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, on the money. But I think anyway, now that we've kind of gone over a lot of the things that we wanted to talk about. I mean, we have a whole script and we've gone through most of it. We kind of wanted to pivot towards like, what are things you're working on, and you know, like, what do you want to get out there and promote?
Well, yeah, the Fruity Rumpus Asshole Factory, I think it's like, you know, it's something I'm really passionate about, and I'm thankful to be able to have an opportunity to be involved with, because for a long time I myself was a fan creator that always thought of like, oh, what could I do if, like, you know, we could be licensed and we can like we can do stuff, and you know, and be a little bit more like, you know, actually make money from it. If I can make money from this project, like, I'd be able to, like, you know, devote so many more resources to it and justify that kind of thing, and do a business and stuff like that. And it has been like a really cool thing to be able to provide that opportunity to a lot of people. And you know, again, if you don't like Andrew, if you're listening, you don't like Andrew, he gets a very small cut of specifically merch sales, right? But we don't. There's nothing else taken from anything else. If you see a FRAF creator, like, and you want to support their Patreon, you want to help them out, absolutely go for it. FRAF doesn't touch that. Andrew doesn't touch that. All those Patreons are completely to those creators, and they have full permission to do that. Everything else, everything is above board for that. And you know, like, don't feel afraid to, you know, support these fans and stuff. And right now, we actually have a suggestions open for new FRAF creators. There we have like a Google form that is, well, I think actually it's in the announcements channel of the HSO right now. I don't know necessarily if you guys would want to share that with it, maybe in the description of this video or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, plug
but
your
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It's a suggestion form where you can just, if there's like a really cool like fan project that you like a lot and you think that it should be part of FRAF, absolutely put whatever you want in there, and we will take it into consideration. There's already been a lot of suggestions. Definitely no guarantees that we, you know, or get to everything, but you know, and also outside of that, we're hoping to do new Homestuck music soon. So with the albums, and once again, Andrew doesn't see that. That's not, you know, Andrew doesn't get a cut of that. Support some new fan art. We're actually bringing on some. We're hoping to bring on some new, completely fresh faces.
Oh, that's awesome. You mentioned you have more music in the work. Do you have like a rough timeline on that? Like, when can we expect something, or do you not even want to go down that?
Well, I will say that it is coming. I don't know how much I should say. I'm not under any kind of NDA about this. I should clarify or anything. But like, I don't want to like put additional pressure on anyone or anything. But I will say it's soon. It's soon, and it's looking good. It's looking positive.
Oh, now that's nice to hear. I would love to hear some new music. Now, is that music going to be used in Beyond Canon, or is that kind of like its own standalone thing?
I can't say that right now. I cannot confirm nor deny at this point.
Ooh, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you want to do wrap ups?
Yeah.
Or takeaways?
Yeah, go ahead. Do you have any?
No. I'm gonna go. Mine's probably gonna be long, so you guys go for me.
I mean, for me, most of these takeaways, I'm kind of getting the feeling that Michael has, like, on the Bowman stuff, Michael has some there's some warranted beef against him, maybe some unwarranted stuff, and I mean, at the very from what I'm seeing is like he has poisoned himself with the a lot of people within the official Homestuck team, warranted or not, and I'm just kind of like,
yeah.
why the fuck is this even going on still? I mean, here we are reporting on it, but it's going on. And then with the official Homestuck Discord, I mean, my main takeaway is seems like a big stance from the official team was Mackin sucks. Everyone else is cool. At least that's mostly what I've been taking away. And also, FRAF seems like it's a pretty damn good cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you gotta put Carcat goes to a convention on it, but then I'll think it's cool.
Fair enough.
Well, I'll be honest.
Carcat goes to convention.
Here's something I'll say. I tried to reach out to the creator of that.
Yeah, Cole, he's pretty hard to reach right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've tried myself too.
Yeah.
All right, Jojo, you have a takeaway?
No, sorry, Cami, you were saying that you tried to reach out to the creator of Carpet Goes to a Convention?
Yeah, Cole.
Yeah. I did before FRAF was announced. Sent out a feeler for that. And in my opinion, I think that Cole's always welcome. If they do want to be part of FRAF.
I would go for a step further. Beyond Cannon should have hired his ass.
Honestly,
he can nail. He has nailed Hussey's style to a T, especially specifically the sprite work. Like I don't know if he knows, but he like would recreate the old Homestuck sprites in Photoshop exactly how he did it, just as his own, just for fun. Yeah, I think he's really great, but enough of that. I mean, yeah.
So hey, Cole, if you're watching, reach out to
come
Cami.
back, Cole.
Monetized.
Come back, Cole.
Yeah.
Please come back, Cole. We miss you.
I'm not overglazing. Shut up. Sorry, I'm
Alex,
talking
you quite a bit as takeaways.
All right, yeah, Jojo, you go.
No, I didn't really have much of a takeaway.
All right.
Like, I think the situation's been like, we've had both parts of it now. Ideally, it'd be really fun to move on to like other episodes, other more like fandom community focused stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think we've done enough. We've all had enough of the drama. Hopefully, this is the last one we have to go. So let's hope nothing else crazy in the community happens.
All right. I'll try not to make this too long. So I wanted to do this because I wanted to maybe see if there was a way to. I know mending the relationship between the two communities is probably impossible, but I wanted to try to give it a shot, and I really wanted to see Michael back on Homestuck. Obviously, that's
right.
a two-way street. If he doesn't want to do it, he wants to do it. Well, let me finish what I'm saying. I am convinced, based on our discussion, that is virtually impossible. I am unconvinced that Andrew's influence is completely removed from anything any Homestuck official associated company does, in the sense that I feel like it's virtually impossible, either through not even necessarily through Andrew directly telling you not to, but more like the unspoken energy of the team to be like, if this person is like criticism adjacent or not, we have to like treat this person like a leper, or like we gotta be careful. We gotta put the hazmat suit on. We gotta put the gloves. We gotta treat this person like a lab experiment because they might, I feel like this attitude is just, it's never gonna happen. It's incompatible when you kind of go through these human things. I'm still of the opinion that most of these things would have been resolved not just recently, but maybe even 10 years ago, if they just were like, hey bro, what's going on? I know it sounds corny, but like I think that's the best way to resolve beefs or disputes, honest to God. And I feel like based on how I've seen Andrew interact through these other controversies is that he's very hesitant to do that, and I don't blame him based on, his personal experiences with stalkers and stuff. I don't blame him for being so guarded, but I think that that's what happens.
Uh,
It's a catch-22 because yeah, everyone has the right to your privacy, but like when you become like a big figure and you only communicate through anonymous accounts or proxies or whatever, then you have this reputation of being almost a mythological figure on both sides. One side thinks you're like a mysterious leprechaun, and the other side thinks you're a shadow mastermind, and they think that they're free to like just go completely overboard in the shit talking of like. And I think in my opinion, that's maybe I might be speaking for Michael, but I feel like that's kind of how he felt. He kind of felt like, oh well, this person's not talking to me. It's almost dehumanizing him in his brain, Andrew, because he doesn't even know Andrew anymore. That's just my take.
yeah. I mean, I will say on the Bowman situation again. It wasn't just Andrew. Like the whole team was pretty firmly upset with a lot of like
But my
just in
point is,
general.
is these people, especially if they weren't around for the original music team, they're upset on his behalf, in my opinion.
I don't know. I
And
feel like
that's what would happen if everyone's working for this guy, everyone's license is tied for this guy. I mean, you're going to be in this committee, this company think of like you're going to be upset on his behalf. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
I feel like I think that there's a lot more depth there in especially like more recent stuff. Personally, I mean, like that's my feeling. I don't want to necessarily. I don't really want to drag the interview out much longer or anything. But like, yeah, like I think with the I don't know, with the James conversation, it sounds like it was pretty firmly communicated to Bowman that the team did not like him. It did not want to continue working with him. And this all happened because I saw Bowman reach out and pass that along. And like I don't know how much more communication could be done than like that. Well, okay, well, obviously more could have been done before that, but like it sounds like that interaction was a pretty firm, pretty clear establishment of where they are with Michael.
Well, I think that's
Uh,
sad because I think Michael's music is good, and I think I see when I see his like live shows, and I see like all the people, dancing and
uh,
stuff and having a good time. I'm like, damn, this would have been awesome to have some kind of concert at like the New York Stuck or anything, but we can't have that because of this beef. And I think that's a
I mean,
tragedy. I
yeah,
think that's a loss for Homestuck as a whole to not
I
have
think
him
Michael
anymore.
makes good music for sure. I don't have any kind of issue with the music that Michael's made or whatever, but it's just it's just like I'm personally I don't blame the team for at this point not wanting to work with him, given given all plenty of the things I've already explained.
That's sad.
Fair enough. I mean, I would love to see Michael more involved, but clearly there's too much beef and interpersonal issues between him and whoever, uh, with enough people that it. I think Alex is right. It's a shame that he's not working with the team, but clearly there's reasons that he's not, and
Mhm.
it's their. I mean, if the team doesn't want to work with him, they don't want to work with him. So that's really his problem to deal with.
I mean, on the plus side, though, as you know, as we talked about before, like we are going to be getting new music. We're going to be hearing from new like artists who are contributing. So that's something like fun to look forward to.
Yeah,
Uh,
I do see that there's going to be a there's this bright there is a bright future for the community I'm seeing. So that is great to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know. It's hard to say. I think I'm thinking about, has he recently posted about feeling the need to he was apologizing about the racist stuff. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what he said about how he feels like he now needs to be like a, I don't remember exactly what he said, but more like responsible for the communities. And I think that sounds good on paper, but in practice, it's, people's standards and tastes are different, and you know, he might say, I'm trying to protect from all these bad things, because it's easy to be like, okay, you're protecting from all these bad things, right? But a lot of people read it as, I'm trying to protect from things I don't like. And things that he doesn't like might be criticism, or might be um, people talking shit, or might be whatever. And I don't know. I think that's just kind of incompatible with, like, fan spaces, in my opinion.
Uh, well, I don't know. I think to an extent, like, I mean, personally, I don't want racists in the community myself. I don't
Oh
want
yeah, of course.
transphobes in the community myself. I think to an extent uh we should strive for a little bit of for a little bit better than we had for a long time.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we are. I think we've all said our piece. Unless anyone else has any more. Going once, going twice. No. All right.
Oh wait, we gotta talk about our next episode.
Oh, the next episode.
Yes.
Yes. We'll keep this quick. Everybody, after this episode, we will be putting together a Google form to submit your fan stories.
Yeah. Looking for good shit.
We want to hear how you have interacted with the community and what your stories are.
So, like, because I feel like we've done the story of the Sharpie bath to death. Like, do we have any contenders? Do we have any better ones? You know?
Give us some good shit. It could be anything. Usually ones with like photo evidence or anything like that are cool.
Yeah, we would prefer real life ones, but we'll leave it open for some online ones because I know there's some juicy ones in there.
Yeah.
So we'll filter them out as they come.
This is gonna be a more lighthearted one, because
yeah, we want to have some fun on here. But anyway, we're gonna start wrapping up. Thank you so much, Cami, for coming on. You gave us a lot of light on the situation. Make sure to go check out FRAF. Also, Cami has put out some great community works. If you know Soda Stuck Funk, which was a really good music video that they put together. Table Stuck, probably the most impressive Excel file I've ever seen in my life. So
thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, go check those out for sure. And I hope to see you next time. And we'll be signing off now. Have a good one, everybody.